I truly believe that the diversity of languages in my room is our greatest asset. This year, I actually have 9 different home languages in the class. I have watched the students who started the year silent become more confident and active participants now, and the way they show empathy for one another really proves we are a learning community.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Inspiring Teachers, the Honored podcast, where we shine a spotlight on life-changing teachers across the country. I'm Hannah, your podcast host, and our podcast is brought to you by Honored, which is a national nonprofit organization dedicated to honoring and elevating great teachers nationwide. Our mission is to inspire and retain great teachers, keeping them in the classroom as long as possible. Every month of the school year at Honored, we select an exceptional educator in the United States to be the recipient of the Honored National Teaching Award. Each honoree, as we call them, receives a $5,000 cash reward, and we then tell the story on our website and our social media platforms of how that teacher has impacted their students' lives. To learn more about our organization, you can go to our website at honored.org. While you're there, if you have a teacher you would like to recognize, you can nominate them for our Honored National Teaching Award at honored.org/nominate. We are so excited to have you listening in on another Honoree podcast episode. Today, we are joined by Hui Couch, a 9th grade algebra teacher at Newcomer Academy in Louisville, Kentucky. She was nominated for this award by the Modern Classrooms Project, a nonprofit organization that equips teachers to redesign their classrooms with blended, self-paced, mastery-based practices that personalize learning and strengthen student engagement. To help share the impact of Hui's teaching, we are joined today by 3 of her students, Juan, Obama, and Kelia. Before we dive into Hui's story, we are excited to kick off our honoree episode with our special segment, Teachers Who Inspired, which is featured at the beginning of each episode. Here, we invite well-known individuals to share a story about a teacher who had a lasting impact on their lives. These stories remind us that behind every great achievement, there's often an inspiring teacher who believed in their potential. Today, we're thrilled to have our guest on our special segment, Kareem Farah, the CEO and co-founder of the Modern Classrooms Project. Kareem began his career as a high school math teacher in Hawaii and Washington, D.C. Instead of using a traditional lecture model, Kareem taught mathematics through a blended model where students accessed content through his self-made videos. In 2018, he received the DC Public Schools Award for Classroom Innovation and was featured in Edutopia and CBS News for his work. In an effort to scale his classroom model, Kareem co-founded the Modern Classrooms Project. As CEO, he has led the organization to become a nationally recognized leader in instructional innovation, training and supporting over 20,000 educators across diverse schools and districts. Kareem is also a member of Honored's board of directors.
There were a lot of teachers during my sort of elementary, middle, and high school career that I think had a pretty big impact on me. But I would say in high school, my probability and statistics teacher, Mr. Sechin, who is one of my favorite teachers of all time. And I think there were a couple of reasons that his classroom was so impactful on me as a sort of advisor and teacher. One, I think he saw his role as a teacher to be equal parts content and relationship building. And that was clear in the way that he communicated, and that was clear in the way that he allocated his time. And the consequence of that is that I felt like when I was walking into his classroom, there was a person there to guide me through a content journey, but there was also a person there who was trying to guide me to be a better person that was going to realize my full potential beyond the content. I think, especially as you look at K-12 education today, where there's a lot of questions about whether the content is particularly relevant to most students, like the ability for educators to build relationships and serve as sort of guides for kids, particularly at those secondary levels, is super impactful. I spent almost every lunch period with Mr. Sechin. I made some of my biggest life decisions with his input in mind. And for that reason, I think he changed the trajectory of my life, but also is the teacher that sort of stood out as someone who embodied what I think is required of great teachers. Honestly, unfairly so, because the job is so hard, but what is required, particularly at the secondary level.
Throughout the rest of the episode, we'll share Hui Couch's story and the incredible impact she has on her students. To start us off, you'll hear from Hui, who shares what led her to teaching as she followed in her mother's footsteps and how she discovered the Modern Classrooms project model.
I followed in my mom's footsteps without a second thought. She is a retired teacher, a kind and successful teacher and leader. What inspired me most was how she cared for every student like they were her own. When I was very young, I remember her students often joining us for dinner in my house. After dinner, she would help them with homework. And also, so many nights I watched her sew clothes on the sewing machine in the very dim light for her students who needed help. Her students all called her school mom that time. Honestly, I was jealous of her students. I thought she loved them more than loved me. From my mom, I learned that teaching is really about caring, love, and service. So becoming a teacher felt natural to me when I grew up. I started my teaching career in China in 1998 when I graduated from college. In 2012, I came to work in the United States as an exchange Chinese teacher. I got my master's here and began to teach math. Currently, I'm working on my EDS program. Teaching in the traditional way, the whole class front of the room style made it very hard for me to meet every student's needs, especially after COVID. Students has just come out of the COVID lockdowns with all different kinds of academic gaps and social challenges. So standing at the front just wasn't reaching every student for me. I knew I needed a different teaching approach to better help my students. So my principal, a very innovative and supportive leader, shared the Modern Classroom project with us through email and encouraged all the teachers in our school to explore it. After I did a brief research online, I realized that the Modern Classroom project was exactly what I had been looking for. And students work at their own pace, take ownership, and focus on true mastery. It also frees the teachers up to spend more time in one-on-one or small group instruction. Without hesitation, I signed up for the training and began implementing MCP in my class. Now I am in my third year with the MCP, and I have the privilege of serving as a mentor myself. It's an honor to support other educators on their MCP journey.
At Newcomer Academy, the goal is to provide a welcoming and respectful environment to meet the needs of 6th through 12th grade English language learners. In Hui's classroom, she teaches English language learners who speak 9 different home languages. With the Modern Classrooms project method, Hui has the flexibility to meet students where they are so they feel supported and challenged, no matter their pace or language level.
In my classroom, I use a clear modern classroom routine with step-by-step procedures, so students always know what to do and what is expected. When they arrive, we do a quick social-emotional check-in. They grab the handout and begin with the whole group warm-up. So as the students work, I circulate to ask questions to stretch their thinking, encourage math talk, and monitor their process. Students collaborate in groups to discuss the questions, brainstorm ideas or solutions, and solve problems with my assigned group rules, a group leader who keeps the discussion on track, and a resource manager, I usually call them math coach, who supports the group by giving suggestions, strategies, and handling tools like Google Translate or manipulatives if necessary. After group work, students check their work. If they catch mistakes, they are not allowed to move on. They need to revise and talk through their misconceptions and correct their wrong answers. Then I release them to their self-paced learning, and they rotate through different stations. So while stations are running, I pull individuals or small groups to work with me. So at the end of a class, we usually regroup as a class and debrief how they worked toward our learning targets, what worked, what didn't, and share their big takeaways. They will also ask any questions they are still confused about. I usually end the class with shout-outs to recognize the students' efforts and growth for the day. So this blended self-paced structure really gives me the flexibility to meet students exactly where they are, instead of pushing the whole class through the same lesson at the same pace. This routine really helps me balance my time and also ensures every student feels supported and challenged no matter their pace or language level.
To hear how Hui's teaching impacts her students, we spoke with Juan and Obama, who share their favorite parts of Hui's classroom. From collaborative group work to self-paced learning to taking ownership of their work, her students feel more confident in their math and learning capabilities.
I love working in small groups in Miss Couch class. She is very patient and explains each question step by step. She used pictures, diagrams, and sentences starters to make math easier. If I get some questions wrong, she will ask me questions to help me think more. She encourages me to look at my guiding notes to find why I do it wrong. She always gives me helpful feedback and help me express my reasoning better. If I don't know how to express myself, she allows me to draw pictures to show my answers. I really like her math word banks, flashcards, and sentences starter. When I do well in class, she gives me a shout out to make me excited to learn more. My math is good now. I feel more confident. I'm a math coach in Miss Coach class. I help my classmates learn. I'm proud of myself.
I love the self-paced learning in Miss Coach class. I also enjoy the group work to do practice problems because we help each other. Miss Coach class really helped me understand math better. I am the group leader and class supervisor because I enjoy help people. It makes me feel more confident.
Reflecting on her first year using the Modern Classrooms Project model, also known as MCP, Hui recalls a memory that perfectly captures the powerful impacts of this approach. From the very beginning, Hui could see the difference. The self-paced mastery structure not only challenges students, but also gives them ownership of their learning and a space to feel confident in mastering each topic.
I will never forget my first year using MCP. Two students turned their learning into a friendly competition. They moved 6 or 7 lessons ahead of all other students. The best part was these two students did not just speed ahead, they mastered every skill we had learned. And I remember from fall to winter, each grew by more than 20 points on our district math map testing. I was very proud of them, but not only because of the scores, but also of the motivation and confidence they developed with the MCP. As for those students who really need more time in their learning, they do not feel that stress of trying to keep up with anyone else. They can move at a pace that works just for them. As a teacher, the biggest win is targeted support. I have more time to work one-on-one with students who feel confused or overwhelmed. What I love most is the ownership. Students have ownership of their own learning. When they get ahead of pace, they're so excited. They quickly move their names forward on our public pacing tracker on the whiteboard. And you can see how proud they are. When they earn a proficiency level of a 4 on a mastery check, the joy on their faces is just incredible. You can hear them say yes with so much confidence. Some literally just jump out of their seats. It's amazing. These moments always line up my days. For me, the most rewarding part in MCP is watching my students grow, not only in math, but in their confidence and independence of their learning. MCP hasn't just transferred my students' learning, it has transferred my teaching too. I feel more successful, more enjoyable being a teacher, and honestly, more inspired in the classroom than I ever did before.
In Hui's classroom, diversity is celebrated and central to learning. With 9 different home languages, she intentionally creates an inclusive environment. She uses images and examples that reflect students' cultures, adds multilingual captions to videos, and designs math problems and projects rooted in real-world experiences to ensure all students feel represented and connected to their learning.
I truly believe that the diversity of languages in my room is our greatest asset. This year, I actually have 9 different home languages in the class. My teaching method is really twofold. At the beginning of the year, I learned to pronounce every name correctly. It's a simple but powerful sign of respect. Even though I mispronounce the name, this often happens, students were all excited to teach me. And we celebrated that moment when even the teacher makes a mistake. So we built a class culture that making mistakes is a proof of learning to everyone. I also work hard to create an inclusive learning environment using names, examples, or images that reflect students' cultures in our learning content. About how I design my instruction to make every lesson accessible, I post language objectives with sentence terms aligning with the learning target, so students know how to express themselves in English during their discussions in groups. I use visuals like pictures, anchor charts, and math vocabulary flashcards to help them. I scaffold activities by simplifying questions, breaking hard questions down into smaller, easier pieces, and translating keywords, concepts, or instructions when needed. I anchor problems in our real life so the math feel related to students. I also record my own instructional videos and add multilingual captions so students can listen to me in English and read in their home languages. That way they build their English and understand the content at the same time. So I like to use think, pair, share so students can get more time to think, jot down ideas, and practice with a partner before sharing with the whole class. In small group work, I intentionally group students by mixing both language and content abilities so students can learn from each other. So this structure really gives my multilingual learners a low-pressure way to process and participate. I also accept multimodal responses on a mastery check. If a student isn't ready in English, they can draw it, map it out in a graphic organizer if they want to, or explain their thoughts to me verbally. I also allow them to refer to their guiding notes during mastery checks if they need to. This really keeps language from becoming a barrier for them to demonstrate their mastery. And the payoff is incredible. I have watched the students who started the year silent become more confident and active participants now. And the way they show empathy for one another really proves we are a learning community.
Hui students Obama, Kelia, and Juan talk about the joy and pride they feel in improving their English skills. They love the modern classroom's project structure, where they can work in groups with partners and then share ideas with the whole class. They know that no matter if they make mistakes, Hui will always encourage them, celebrate their progress, and support them in the learning process.
I really enjoy Miss Coach weekend check-in activity. I like her picture World Bank and the sentence starters. It is easy to talk about what we did and how we felt. I love Miss Coach use sing English song and learn English. Then we play a game, eyes closed, throw the soccer ball, and who catch the ball. Choose a partner to talk about how the weekend was. It is funny and it is made me more confident speak English. I love to present my project in class. Miss Coach say I did excellent job and I am very proud.
I like that Miss Couch let us practice English, first think then talk with a partner, and at last share with the class. I feel comfortable to talk in English in that way. Miss Couch secretary and I answer the phone calls in English in our class. Miss Couch said I did a great job and I'm so happy and proud.
I enjoy Miss Coach class. Think, write, pair, share most. I can think first, then write and talk with a partner, and finally share with the whole class. I feel prepared. I am not scared of make mistakes. Miss Coach encourages me to share my ideas in English in class. I like speaking in front of the class now.
Building on the power of a multilingual classroom, Hui discusses the empathy that is fostered by a culturally diverse learning environment. Her students learn to connect across language barriers and navigate differences with curiosity and respect.
I see benefits every day that really go far beyond the classroom. Academically, their math thinking grows because they are constantly exposed to different perspectives. And they learn quickly that there isn't only one way to approach a problem. Socially, they develop real empathy and strong communication skills. They learn to listen closely and find ways to connect with classmates from different cultures, even when there's a language barrier. That kind of personal connection is more powerful than any textbook lesson on diversity. The biggest impact really goes beyond math. This learning environment prepares the students for the real world. They learn to communicate with people from all different backgrounds and build cultural fluency. They cannot get from a textbook. They start to understand different customs, communication styles, and values, and they learn to navigate those differences with respect and curiosity. Test scores matter, but I believe these human skills like empathy, adaptability, and critical thinking are the most positive and lasting impacts they will take with them to their future life.
Hui's classroom motto is unlocking solutions one problem at a time. During our conversation, she reflects on what this means to her and how this shows up in her teaching. She uses this motto to look forward and take every moment as an opportunity for growth. Hui encourages her students to carry this mindset to give them the confidence to overcome personal and academic challenges.
To me, unlocking solutions one problem at a time means every challenge, big or small, is an opportunity for growth. I never rest on my past successes or get stuck on past failures. I'm always looking forwards, focusing on the next solvable problems whether it's in my own professional development or in helping a student. This philosophy is the agent of my teaching in two key ways. First, in how I approach my own growth. I'm committed to keeping my teaching updated. So I set small, achievable goals for myself, like learning one new technology tool, trying a new instructional strategy each month. I also reflect on my teaching daily. This is how I tackle outdated teaching, one goal at a time. Second, and most importantly, in how I teach my students, I design my lessons to mirror this. When my students face a daunting math problem, I teach them to deconstruct it. We do not just look for the final answer, we celebrate unlocking each small along the way. This really builds their resilience and shows them that even the biggest challenges can be overcome through persistent and focused effort. So ultimately, it's not just about teaching them math, it's about equipping them with a lifelong problem-solving mindset.
Hui's students, Obama and Kelia, share more about how she supports and instills confidence in them. She helps her students break hard questions into easier steps and encourages them to tackle any challenge thrown their way. Additionally, she connects math to the real world, so they understand how to apply what they are learning outside the classroom.
Miss Coach support me with picture, word bank, table, and sentence starters. I love to work on problem together with her because it breaks the hard questions into easier steps. When I make mistake, she encouraged me to try again. She gave me a shout out for doing a good job. It made me feel very support and confident.
I feel supported because we use math for daily life. In our pizza part project, we use variable to estimate the cost and we need to stay under our budget of $60. Now I can help my family order pizza at home. When I make mistakes or want to give up, Miss Couch encouraged me and tells me she believes in me and I can do it. Class feels exciting and I am better at explaining my math reasoning. I feel more confident now, even at home, because I know I can do it. I like Miss Couch told me.
Newcomer Academy is a collaborative learning community where staff members are encouraged to work together to share successes and overcome challenges. Working toward a unified goal of helping every student succeed, they cultivate a professional environment where everyone can learn from and grow alongside each other.
My school is a collaborative community. I also truly believe a strong staff community is a foundation for students' learning. So I make an effort to initiate collaborative conversations to build a culture of open exchange. For example, when I find a strategy that's particularly effective, I don't keep it to myself. I have also learned so much from their teaching methods. This process really transfers us from a group of individual teachers into a true professional learning community with one shared goal, helping every student succeed.
During our conversation, Hui tells a story about a moment that reminds her of her life-changing impact. When working in a different school, she had a student who was struggling with math. Through her support, he gained confidence and improved his scores. When Hui left that school, he created a painting for her, along with a heartfelt letter that she still holds on to as a reminder of the impact one teacher can have.
I had a student who was really struggling with math and didn't have much confidence in math by himself when he came to my class. I invited him to our after-school tutoring sessions and we worked step by step using organizers, visuals, and manipulatives, even dancing and singing songs to help make the questions more sense to him. He ended up improving by around 25 points on the last district math map testing of the school year. What meant even more was what happened after. At the district opening day kickoff for all teachers, he thanked me in the student interview video for my help. I was tearful at that moment. All my teaching paid off. When I left that school, I hadn't told my class I was transferring to another district until the day before I left because I didn't like tears. That night, he stayed up painting an Asian picture for me and wrote a letter of thanks. Now I keep that painting in my classroom on the window by my desk. It reminds me why I teach. It truly touched my heart.
To close out our episode, we hear from Hui's students, Obama, Kelia, and Juan, about their favorite memories so far in her classroom. From achieving a 4 on a mastery check, to sharing their appreciation for Hui, to participating in their school's global homecoming, her long-lasting impact on these students is clear. Not only is she teaching math and helping them improve their English, but she is also building confidence and fostering connections that her students will carry with them beyond their time in her classroom.
One of my favorite memories is when I get 4 on mastery check. Miss Coach give me a shout out in front of the class and say, "I told you you are smart and you can do it," and you never heard encouragement like that before. I feel proud and thankful. Miss Coach is a good teacher.
The first time I met Miss Couch, she was so nice to me. She told me with me and welcomed me. I drew a heart and wrote "love you" for her, and she put it on her wall. That made me feel really happy. I love Miss Couch.
My favorite memory is I love walking together with Miss Couch in the global homecoming parade to represent her culture at the school. In the global homecoming, every person in the school walk with her country, and this day me go with Miss Couch because I help her to the decoration and many things more.
Thank you so much for listening and joining us today to learn more about Hui Couch, our November honoree and recipient of the Honored National Teaching Award. To read more about her story, you can visit our website at honored.org or click the link in the episode description. If you have a teacher who you want to recognize and nominate for our teaching award, you can head to honored.org/nominate to recognize a teacher today. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can follow us and leave us a review on whatever podcast platform you're listening in from. Thanks again for listening, and make sure to tune in later this month to hear a special episode with the CEO of the Modern Classrooms Project.